Hi, it's Steve. Today we're going to show you how to change the motor control board on your washer, and it's a really easy job. All we're going to need is either a 7mm nut driver or a 7/32 socket and ratchet and a small flat blade screwdriver. Let me show you how we do it. Now the first step in this repair will be to disconnect power to the appliance, so simply unplug it and then pull it forward enough that we can access this bottom access panel. Now, there are 3 screws across the bottom that secure that. And on this model, they are a 7mm screw. So simply remove all of those. And just lift out and drop the panel down. We can set that aside. Now, the motor control board is located over on the left-hand side at the bottom here. We'll need to disconnect some wire harnesses to that control board before we can remove it. There's a little access panel on the side of that housing. Take a small flat blade and go in behind that. Just pry it open. And that will just hinge away. And that will give us access to 3 connectors on the side of that board. And to give ourselves a little more access, we can move this harness channel and just squeeze those 2 little tabs, pull that down out of the way. Now there are locking tabs on some of these connectors, so simply depress them, pull the connector off. The larger one may just need to pry it a bit with a flat blade to get it started. And then the one on the bottom, we'll need to separate these 2 little tabs. And pull straight in. Next, there's a wire tie mounted to the side of that housing that we'll probably want to reuse. So take a flat blade, just reach in and release that little tab. And pull the rest of the tie out from behind. Unhook the wire. Now the shield at the top of this housing may be attached to the side of the cabinet with some 2-phase tape. So pry that off first, or if you have to, use a putty knife. Now our next step will be to lift up on this little locking tab. Just use our flat blade screwdriver, pry up on it gently, and then pull the housing forward. Now we can just lift up on that housing and tilt it back. And pull it out through the front here. Now the new part may not come with this little wire tie attached to it, so we're going to take the one off of the old housing so that we can reuse it. Now to do that, we'll need to remove the board. So there are a couple of locking tabs here. Just depress those while lifting up on the board. And pull it away. And then we can see that wire tie push through from the back side here. So just depress those little tabs and push it out the back. Then we'll reinstall it on the new control board. Now you may need to reapply some 2-phase tape on this new housing, which will help to hold it against the cabinet. If not, you could probably just duct tape it to it. But we have to have some 2-phase tape, so we'll utilize that. So again, we're just going to slide that housing in through this opening. And then we'll line up the 4 legs on the bottom of it with the 4 slotted holes in the base. Once we've got all of those positioned, just press it back until that little locking tab at the front engages. And then press the top of that shield against the cabinet until it adheres. Now we can go ahead and reconnect the wire harnesses. Make sure that they're firmly pressed onto the board. Now the large edge board connector has a little tab through the middle of it that will line up with this slot on the board. So make sure that we get that lined up first. And then press it firmly to get a good connection. Install our ground wire on the bottom terminal here. And the 2 wire connector at the very top. We'll tuck that harness in behind the wire tie. Snug that up. We'll close that little access door. Make sure it snaps closed. And then we'll reposition that wire raceway, snap it into that opening in the front. Now our last step will be to reinstall that access panel. And we're just going to tuck this lip up in behind the front panel. And then hold it up in place and install the 3 screws across the bottom. We're now ready to reconnect the power, and our repair is complete.